Hello students, in today's video lecture, we will continue class 6, chapter number 9, the living organism, characteristics and habitats. First of all, we will see about aquatic habitats. The habitat having water all around are called aquatic habitats. Okay, the important aquatic habitats are ocean, ponds, lake, river. But some of these are the common adaptation which we can find in hydrophytes. Hydrophyte, that means plants which are adapted to live in excess water are called hydrophytes. These plants have poorly developed root or as it does not require water to reach its various parts, means the roots of these plants, hydrophytes, it is poorly developed. Why? Because it is not conducting, that it is the roots are absorbing water and it is conducting to different parts of the plant. This is not happening. That is why they are having poorly developed root. Second, stems are long and thin to withstand water current. Since they are living inside the water, water current is there. So what is happening? They are having long and thin stems so that they can withstand in that water current. Next, air cavity is present to keep them afloat. Air cavity is present, a cavity kind of thing is present so that the plant can remain floating. The leaves of water lily are broad, which allow plant to afloat and also help in transpiration. Okay, the leaves of water lily. One of the uh, flower which is found over here is water lily. What it is having broad leaves and which is allowing the plant to float on water and also helps in transpiration. And the leaves have waxy coating to protect the plant from rotting in water. The leaves which are this aquatic plant, the leaves which are there, it is having waxy coating. Why? Because if water stays on the leaves, then what will happen? It will get rotten. That is why to protect it from getting rotten, the leaves are having what? Waxy coating. First of all, let us see about ocean habitat. A very large area of sea is called ocean. We know this, a very large area of sea which is called ocean. Many sea animals which are found here have streamlined bodies to help them move easily in water. Okay, many sea animals which are found in the ocean, they are having streamlined bodies. For example, we can see the fish living in sea habitat have streamlined body shape. The dolphin and whales living in the sea, they are also having streamlined bodies. And some animals which are not having streamlined bodies like squids and octopus, what they do? They are not having streamlined body, but when squids and octopus move in seawater, they make their body shape streamlined. Okay, and then they move in the water. These animals, such animals, they stay deeper into the ocean near the seabed to catch the prey. Okay, to catch their prey. Now, this streamlined body, what it is happening? The streamlined shape of the sea animal is an adaptation, which is what? Helping them to swim in water. Now, let us see about one more thing is here. Whales and dolphins, they do not have gills to breathe. Okay, they breathe in air through nostrils or blowholes located on the upper parts of their head. What happened? These whales and dolphins, they are not having gills to breathe. What they do? They come, they come up and breathe in air through their nostrils, through the blowholes which is present here. You can see in the picture it is shown over there. Blowhole is marked, which is located on the upper part of their head. They breathe in air through blowholes when they are coming near the surface of water. And after breathing in air, they close the blowhole with a flap which is present over there and dive into the sea. Okay, and these dolphin and whales can stay inside water for long time without breathing. Okay, now let us see about ponds and lakes. Here, ponds and lakes are freshwater aquatic habitats. We can see Many plants growing in water of the pond, lakes. Okay, we have seen. So the plants which grow in water are called these ponds and lakes. They are also known as aquatic plants. On the basis of this, they are divided into three types. First one is free floating. These plants float on water. Roots are very small and freely floating on water. Example, water hyacinth. You would have seen a picture is also shown over here of water hyacinth. Means what? These plants are freely floating. Okay, their roots are small and they freely float on the surface of water. Next is partially submerged. These plants are fixed to water bottom by their roots. Stems grow on the surface. Leaves and flowers float on the surface water. Example, you can see lotus and many other are also there. Here you can see the lotus plant. It is partially submerged. Next is completely submerged. These aquatic plants are totally submerged in water. All parts of such plants grow underwater. Example, it is hydrilla. Okay, completely submerged means it is totally inside the water and these plants grow underwater. Next, we will see about living things around us, its characteristics. What are the characteristics of living beings? First of all, we all know, we are well aware about the characteristics of living beings. So first we will see all living things need food to survive because food is a source of energy. Yes, all living beings. Without food, we cannot survive. We need food. To do every work, we need food. Without food, we will not feel like doing anything. We will just simply sit, we will become lean and thin, we will become sick. So food is very much necessary. Next is living thing grow. Means the young ones of all the living things, plants and animal grow and become bigger in size and with the passage of time. Okay. Example, we know that one example we can see a seed which grows and becomes plant. Okay. Similarly, a baby which grows and become an adult. So living things grow. Living things respire. Yes, living things respire. They breathe. Okay, they breathe to live, to remain alive. They do respiration. Okay, respiration is a chemical process in which food taken by an organism combines with oxygen to release energy. So we do respiration. Living things do respiration. Next is living thing respond to stimuli. Insect like cockroach moves away from light. Okay, living things respond to stimuli means when uh, one of the most uh, simple example with which you can understand about this is living things respond to stimuli is the mimosa plant. Okay, mimosa plant. As soon as you touch the leaves of mimosa, what will happen? The leaves get folded. Okay, leaves get folded. In the same way, these insects like cockroaches and all, they move away from the light. Okay, as soon as it comes in contact with light, they will start moving away from it. That means they are responding towards it. Okay, they are responding. In our case also, we living things also, we also respond like suddenly the light you are in a dark room and suddenly the bright light comes in front of your eyes. So what happened? You close your eyes. So this is the things we are responding to the stimuli. Next is living things excrete. Means they remove waste substance from their body. Yes, the living things, they do excretion. They remove the waste substance which is produced inside their body. Next is living things reproduce. Living things reproduce means they produce young ones of their own kind. Okay, living things produce young ones of their own kind. Next is living things move. Yes, this is one of the most important characteristics also, that living things move. Means they move from one place to another. Okay, this. But in plants, you can see in plants also this movement is shown. How? When the seed is growing. Okay, then you will find that the root system and shoot system. root system, it grows downward, and shoot system, it moves upward. So in this way, we can see that living things, in plants also, living thing moves, and in human being, we human being or animals, the living things, they just move from one place to another with the help of their legs, with the help of their hands. Okay, so these all were the characteristics of living things. Now, adaptation of plants in moderate environment. Now, see, a moderate environment is that where it is neither too dry nor too wet. Okay, this kind of environment is known as moderate environment. The area where we are living, what kind of environment it is? It is moderate environment. Why? Because of this all characteristics you can see. It is neither too dry nor too wet. Second, soil here is very fertile. You can very well observe that different crops are grown over here because the soil here is fertile. Plants found here are known as mesophytes. Example of mesophyte plants are mango trees, guava, neem, banyan, etc. These all are example of what? Mesophyte plants which are found in this moderate environment. In these plants and trees, leaves, stems and root perform their normal function. Here you can see normal function they are performing. Root is absorbing water and root is absorbing water from the soil. It is conducting to different parts of the plants. Okay, so stems are growing, leaves are there. Okay, it is where fruits are there, branches are there. These means every functions they are normal. Normally they functions. Acclimatization. Here a word came, climate. Now what does climate means? Climate means short-term change. So first of all, let us see the definition of acclimatization. Small change that take place in a body of a single organism over short period to overcome small problems due to changes in the surroundings is called acclimatization. Let us understand this definition with an example which will make you more clear. If we live in a plain and suddenly go to a high mountain region, we may experience difficulty in breathing for a few days. This is because the air is very thin at the high altitude on the mountain, okay, due to which we have to breathe faster. Okay, due to which what happened? Our breathing rate becomes faster so as to obtain sufficient oxygen which is required by our body. After some days, however, small changes occur in our body due to which our body adjusts to the new environment of thin air on mountains. Okay, after few days what will happen? After some days our body will get adjusted to this kind of environment. Here we say that our body has acclimatized to the mountain environment. Okay, means our body has acclimatized. It is now used to with the mountain environment. So this is known as acclimatization. Okay, this is known as acclimatization. So thank you students. This was the part third and the end part of this chapter, and it is video number 24. Thank you students. Soon I will be uploading the video of next chapter.